Are you guys ready to go back to the Lighthouse of Lunacy? Well, whatever your answer is, it doesn't really matter, because we're locked in. There's no escape. But, at the very least, I realise what I'm looking for is down here. There's something on the floor. Is there a tuning fork? I don't see any instruments. If you find a violin, let me know. I have this urge to play it. Huh, didn't know you were a violin player. I'm not, I just want to cause some ear damage to Victoria. Good plan. Can't object to our arguments if you can't hear them. Anyway, this fork is giving me bad vibes. Who dropped it here? You better note this down just in case. Curious to see if we will find any use for this, but alright. I guess we'll stay tuned. You don't have to force it, you know. Come on, that was good. So we got a tuning fork. If we look at the... No? I show this to you? Really don't get what this is supposed to be. Some kind of mix between a fork and chopsticks. That will completely destroy the purpose of chopsticks. And it's not pointy enough to be a decent fork. Right, maybe I meant to use two of them. Advanced chopsticks? I'm gonna take this as you never having seen this before and move on. You ever seen this suitcase before? I don't know why you'd expect that. Because it was your job to check everyone's luggage. If any of the guests brought a suitcase like this along, you should have seen it. Oh, right. Right, yeah. A lot of the guests bought suitcases. There's probably one of them. And did you see who bought this one? It's a little hard to remember who bought what exactly. Typical. Can't you check your logs or something? It's not like I noted down every last suitcase. I mean, that would have taken forever. That's the metal detector's job. If it doesn't complete, there's no reason to bother. Well, that wasn't helpful. Okay, different question. You wrote down our names. I assume you did that for every guest. Did any of them have the initials DW with a lowercase t? I'd feel bad for someone who didn't even deserve an uppercase name. Nah, not anything. Pretty sure I'd remember if I wrote down a name like that. Maybe we're looking for a Dutch name? Something like de whatever. Oh, good thinking. Now that you mention it, yeah, there was one surname like that. I remember the D. Don't think it continued with a W though. Can't you check your logs again? Well, I handed them off to the lawyer. Better ask her if you want to read them. Oof. Yeah, no chance that's happening. Now we want to go to the crime scene. Do you have anything to say about this stuff? Thoughts on this? A tuning fork made out of aluminium. The produced bass frequency is 7,000 Hz plus several overtones. Probability to be related to the case? Extremely negligible. Well, I can't deny that for now. Not the place to crush your hopes. Talk about being tone deaf. Keep doing that. I'm starting to think picking this up was a mistake. Ooh, feels like we're not on the same frequency right now. I think you're in treble. Doesn't look like a harmonious relationship. You're joining in? This has got to be a fever dream. I might have shown you the suitcase last time, but Does this happen to be your suitcase? Let's take a look. It appears to be made of polyester, possibly a composite. Plastic wheels and telescopic handle. Reduced weight was prioritized over durability. No, I have not seen this before. My equipment is portable without a suitcase. I did not bring one. Then I'm not sure that analysis was necessary, but I guess I got my answer. Is there anything? No, probably not. I might have missed something else in the display room. Yeah, I know I'd missed this before because I was like, just wasn't looking close enough, but I don't see anything else that's, because we examined everything on these 3 tables. We examined that suitcase. We examined the vent. We examined the outside of the window. We could always move back to the show you this shit. We made some progress tuning up the court record. Stop forcing it. I'm not forcing it. I'm forking it. Fork over something useful, man. I still don't see how this thing is going to help us. Our kidnapper probably made sure that room was neat and tidy before the auction. Gotta have to see how this trial goes. This might come in handy in the most unexpected point. So is this the kind of stuff I'll have to bet on? Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Still worrying about it? It told us not to. Who placed it there? The owner might make for a good suspect. There's gotta be a way to find them. They even left their initials on the thing. That'd be too obvious. And nobody's gonna buy the murderer who just forgot his suitcase on the scene. Well, it's weird for anyone to just forget about something this big. Unless they had no choice or were really worried about something else. Already talked to you about all that. What am I missing? So I've been everywhere. I feel like I've done everything. I've shown everything to everyone. I've already examined that and I can't. Done these Rorschach tests. Star 4 key. Because there was a star on that Rorschach test, but it was also something that was changing. I don't know. If the first part means what I think it means. Star 4 key. And I'm seeing something that fits the bill. I don't know. I honestly don't know what this is on about. I may have to do the dreaded thing that I've not had to do on any of these playthroughs so far and actually look up a guide. But for now I can keep looking around. But there's definitely nothing else in this room. So I've been over everything twice, haven't I? What if I examine the suitcase again? Oh, yeah, I've examined everything in here twice, so... Well, I didn't examine the tuning fork twice. Oh, I'm really reaching now, but... There's no need to look around. So we go back to the crime scene. What if I examine this door? I think we already did this. String theory. Right. Now I'm really stuck and I don't want to waste too much time on an investigation segment, so I'm going to have to take a quick look at the walkthrough. So I'm going to pause the video here and come back in a few minutes. I'm back, and it looks like I'm going to have to present the knife to her. I did already present the knife, to be clear, on the first time I visited her. But you specifically need to present it after examining the Rubik's Cube in the other room, which I guess I didn't do. I thought I had, but I mustn't have. Did you find any other odd features about this knife? Just what would you consider an odd feature? You know, like a keyhole or something. It's a knife. Where would there be a keyhole? Fair point. Something like this would be immediately apparent, I guess. What about the sheath? Did you try looking inside? Why would there be a keyhole there? Why would there be a keyhole there? Just take a look, please. We have a reason to suspect this. Well, no need to leave things up to assumptions. Even there's a decent chance you're wasting my... What is it? There's something in there, isn't there? 4-star key knife. I don't know where the 4 stars come into it, but I guess a keyhole in the knife split. I really don't know at this point. Like, this is one of those moments of the protagonist of the game being smarter than you and being like, oh my fucking god, will he just pick the right answer already? Will this person who's somehow able to control all my decisions, will he just get the hell on with this? And anyway, I did consider it a bit curious. This sheet is actually 1.4 centimeters longer than the knife. It's not a perfect fit, which leaves a small gap between the knife's tip and the bottom of the sheath. And I assume you just saw something hidden in an extra space? Correct. This slip of paper was tucked away in the bottom of the sheath. Another note? That better not become a trend. What does it say? Shallow ethics insane doctor. This sounds like your typical 1-star review. If you have shallow ethics, poor reviews are the least of your problems. This note is likely a reference to Dr. Lees, the one who used to live in this tower. He was infamously exposed for running unethical experiments, after all. And anyone who's part of a hitman organization can objectively be classified as unhinged. I don't know, though. I mean, why write those words randomly? I mean, it could be a torn part of, like, a bigger message, but it could also be a password of some kind. It's like 4 words that are used to unlock something. Anyway. And anyone who's part of a hitman organization can objectively be classified as unhinged. That checks out, but what's the point? This doesn't tell us anything new. There's gotta be a deeper meaning. It's inefficient to ponder this without context. We don't need to know what this note... We don't even know when this note was written. Your friend might be able to enlighten us. It looks to have given her something to think about. I was just trying to make sense of it. That's such an obvious lie. Oh, damn, I let my guard down. It's nothing important. I just felt like I've seen words like this before. What am I doing? Half-baked excuses like that will get past Lillian's intuition. Okay, let me know if you figure something out. Did that work? No, she must have decided to let it slide. Focus. I must let my guard down again. Now when it comes to the meaning of this. That's all the time and energy I'm willing to allot on this then. A slip of paper can hardly change your current situation. Should be right about that. Still, that's enough to start. When sheath is a small hollow space near the tip. Before a note, the following words was tucked away inside the script. Shallow ethics, insane doctor. Now, this knife. Who knows what this is going to be for, but that's a long ass description. And now, finally, we're done. And oh, look who's side joke there. Hate to say this, but it looks like time is almost up. They're getting ready to resume. Sorry, that's where the journey will have to end. Gotta head back to the bench. Guess that's one way to stall for time. Figured you might want to take a moment and review things. Appreciated. There's actually something I wanted to sort out before moving on. Namely, this. So that's what you were sketching out in your notebook. More or less. Can you look if I got everything right? Wow, pretty detailed. You can't have to keep the unusual features of our situation in mind. Especially since they'll probably be used against me depending on when I argue. Yeah, I get the feeling the check they made the guard do at the entrance will be trouble. Wait a moment though. This tower has another floor? Well, it's obvious from looking at it there's at least 2. Maybe the eye's a strategy, but I remember 2 rows of windows. I love your memory. You didn't even know this was going to happen at that point. But you also were on the top floor. How did you figure that? I mean, you could also have looked at the panel in the elevator. It wasn't lit up, but there was another button for the floor below this one. General information about the building, as well as the diagram of the crime scene. Ooh, this is something to look at. Height 200 meters, diameter 30 meters. There are 2 floors. The main hall is located on the upper floor. A head count is performed each time trial resumes. 67 people are present. 65 visitors, plus Holden's daughter, plus the guard. The elevator is the only way to get to the top. Access to individual floors can be restricted. Visitors must provide ID to confirm They are of age 18. A metal detector is used on every visitor. Their names and noteworthy luggage are logged. Only noteworthy luggage, though. Main hall, display room. So this is a good way of getting our bearings actually. So the elevator this way, which we haven't been to yet, but we've been to the main hall, display room, the study, and I'm guessing the side room is probably further down there, but that's not really relevant. It's just a place to that we chilled in for a bit. And victim was found in the study. We have a vent system that, remember, has one above and one below, which is also very weird. But that's not in the cycle. So, are you beginning to get the bigger picture? I'm not sure there's a bigger picture to get. We found some sketchy points about the victim, but not enough to turn this into self-defense. All the other clues don't appear to contradict the story that I shot the victim. Of course they don't. That's what happened. We're gonna see what the witness will have to say. If we're lucky, we can trip them up somehow and ride the momentum like before. That's probably the best we can hope for. Fine. Let's see what they got in store. Waiting won't make me any more prepared for this. Lillian, I'm ready to resume time. Is there nothing else you want to talk about? Now that nobody is listening? Like I said, I'm good. If you need a couple more minutes, that's fine. It's getting awkward. Did I do something to upset you? No, not at all. I'm just kind of worried. So I just want to say again, and I'll be on your side no matter what. She definitely noticed I wasn't completely honest during the investigation. Of course. There's no way it wouldn't bother her. I know I've been pleading the fifth a lot, but what's actually my business in this place? I'm not sure when I will feel ready to talk about it to you, but I'll try because you deserve to know. To me? What's the problem, isn't it? If it wasn't for my intuition, you might have said something like, I promise I'll tell you someday. No, if it wasn't for that, you'd probably open up at least a little bit. Ironic. That's not how I meant it. It really does suck sometimes. Being able to tell when your friend is lying. Lillian. Wait. That was abrupt. I spoke like that was going to lead into something else. Being able to tell when your friend is lying. And then run up. But no. The moment's passed now. The moment's passed. You've got to stay at your bench, man. The trial is resuming. God damn it, I definitely upset her. That couldn't have happened at any worse timing. No choice but to focus on the trial for the moment. Even with everyone in the truth against me, I refuse to go down without a fight. I still promise, I at least promise her that much after all. You can't tell her, but worst of all, you can't tell us, because whatever this is going to be big. April 4th, 9:35 PM, the Lighthouse of Lunacy, main hall. Court is now back in session for the trial of Holden v. Chase. I hope everyone had a good break. I, for one, could have used a longer nap. These must be the judge's usual working hours. Let's hope that won't make him too eager to get to the verdict. Now, we left off with a major hole being present in the plaintiff's case. An inexplicable missing key and no proof that Miss Chase actually fired the gun. I hope you are now ready to address these issues properly. Wait, something seems different. Looks like somebody's had too much time on their hands. Charlie, that was a rhetorical question. There was never any point when I couldn't have put an end to the defendant's charade.
What have you done to your side of the courtroom?
A simple but necessary adjustment. A tablecloth so I can avoid touching his desk. And a majestic priesthood crest adorning the walls.
But why?
Did you seriously ask? This bench had an identical design to the one on the defendant's side. This may have suggested to the casual observer that this was a clash of two equal minds, something that naturally could not be further from the truth. The difference between us is of such magnitude that it ought to be visually reflected.
I see. I suppose there's no harm done. However, I can't allow you to use a chair. The court requires all lawyers to stand while in session.
You dare make us tie our legs while sitting yourself? Like her or not, she's got a point there.
Special never has a point.
No, but seriously, the judge is an old man. I think we can let him off.
I'm afraid it's court procedure, Miss Preston.
What a bother. Thankfully, this will not take much longer. Nice little effort there, spending these 20 minutes to represent yourself properly. You forgot to set up the big top, though. How very amusing. Let's hope your wits won't be reflective of your arguments. Not really worried there. So far, I've tossed you around pretty easily with basically no evidence.
Please cease hostilities! The defense does have a point, though. Your performance before the break raised some serious concerns, Miss Preston. Do you actually have a case prepared now?
Unsurprisingly, Miss Chase has yet to comprehend my motivations. Let me attempt to enlighten you. To understand the trial so far, you must understand Schopenhauer. Of course. Here we go again. He once said there is nothing of which a man is prouder of than intellectual ability. It is exceedingly worse to let anyone see that you are superior to them in this respect. Such public humiliation would only be a thirst for vengeance. When mingling with the masses, he recommended to be stupid so that they remain agreeable. What? You were holding back so I wouldn't resent you? Sorry, but that ship has long sailed. That's what I was about to say, actually. That ship, it's fucking... It's at the Pacific bloody ocean by now. Which I guess that isn't that far from Japanifornia, but... Anyway. That was another motivation, naturally. It's not like I could seriously allow you to walk away with this crime. But in my unparalleled kindness, I wanted to leave you a path to redemption. If you had realized your guilt and confessed before there was no more room to deny it, you might have walked out of here with some remaining dignity.
So what you're saying is... you sabotaged your case on purpose to give Miss Chase an opportunity to reflect?
Sure, she totally meant to do all that. Whatever you say, looks like your plan has failed. I stand unreformed. I expected this outcome. Nevertheless, it was a matter of principle. Perhaps you will appreciate it once even you realize the inevitable conclusion. Let's get this formality of demonstrating your guilt over with. All of you should have received my updated autopsy report.
Yes, it was placed on my desk earlier.
take note of the fact that the bullet found in the victim is a close to perfect match with the defendant's gun.
Quite right. That does seem to prove that this was the murder weapon.
As such, the defendant's theory of another gunman falls apart completely. I'm not even going to try the 9% excuse, but I'm going to push back here somehow. There's still very much a chance someone else fired the shot. They could have stolen the gun from me during the auction. Then, they could have proceeded to shoot the victim and lock the door as I theorized. I guess they threw the gun into the room before locking it. The eagerness with which you propose such a laughable excuse is truly concerning. What prints are on here? We have Aurelia Chase and Waldis Nelland. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video when we were getting this fingerprint analysis, I expected that the guard's fingerprints would be on there. Now, the guard, if I'm remembering correctly, handled the gun directly with his own hands because he had to take it from us when we were getting the metal detector ran through us. So, by the fact that his fingerprints aren't on here now, someone took it, used it, wiped all the prints off, then we picked it up, put the fingerprint on the trigger, didn't fire it necessarily. Well, that's my theory so far. I'm saying the guard's print should be on there, and the fact that they aren't is pretty sus. I guess we'll find out more as this goes on that angle. They'll probably, if this is true, it'll probably be present the guard's profile at some point. Alas, that's about what I expected. Let's deny this absurd hypothetical gunman. Hypothetical witnesses that can positively deny any such person even approaching the door.
Very good. Alas, this is starting to resemble a normal trial. You may call your first witness, Miss Preston.
Here it comes. Time to see how screwed I really am. Two people we've seen before. One person we've never seen before. Now then, give your testimony.
Wait! What are you doing? Why are the two other people with the witness?
Did you not comprehend my words? I stated I have multiple witnesses. It's no surprise in an overwhelmingly obvious case like this. These three gentlemen were the first to break into the room and discover the body. Now that she mentions that some of these faces do kind of ring a bell.
You're expected to call them one at a time. It'll be too confusing like this.
Confusion. The unwarranted fear of a lesser mind. If anything, it will be less confusing this way. The statements complement each other, forming the full picture. For their independent evidence to unfold naturally, this is the most effective method. If this is not allowed by procedure, I worry about our courts.
Well, the idea to revive this practice has been talked about recently to shorten trial times. There's also some precedent stemming from British law, so I suppose it's not unthinkable.
What happened to making this a normal trial? So the judge has played great ace attorney. I am pleased that you are able to see the light, old man. Well, they did have multiple witnesses in the Japanese court as well. It was just throughout both court systems. Like, both court systems are pretty much the same, except for the fact that the British one had the jury, so Anyway, the Ace Attorney universe is a pretty wild place. Give your decisive testimony, witnesses.
Wait, please let them introduce themselves first. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Can't last us long enough. Enough of not only capturing the auction and trapping us in this lot. This would have never been allowed back in the day. Oh, pipe down, old timer. This shit's just as dodgy as it used to be. Move your wrinkly behind so we can get to business. Oh, shut your mouth. It's a disgrace what I have to endure here.
These three are supposed to complement each other. I share the sentiment of not desiring to drag this out needlessly. The sooner you help enlighten the ignorant, the faster this will be over.
You want to talk some miss. If you called us down here right away, we'd be well on our ways home by now. Instead, you let the perp run circles around you, forced us to sit and enjoy that travesty. Look where that got you. Now you come running back to us, crying.
Did you not pay attention to my explanation?
Sorry, some kid kept making excuses from her screw-up, so I couldn't... Sorry, some kid kept making excuses for her screw-up, so I couldn't catch anything. Honestly, you sound like some grifter whose scam got busted. Funniest shit I've seen all day. Honestly, almost saved the evening.
God damn. You are unfortunately entitled to your ignorance. Maybe I should have spent the recess getting popcorn ready.
Don't you start celebrating, gal. This miss might be a piece of work, but you're an ice-cold killer. Let me start while Grandpa is still booting up. Name's Waldus Neldon. My name's Waldus Nellen. Guess what? I'm technically the owner of this whole damn joint. You're the owner of this tower? You got that right. Should have been one of our attractions before the local government killed the fun. The Lighthouse of Lunacy. Name's more fitting than ever now, if you ask me. I run Luna Park, if you still didn't figure. Maybe you spotted it on the way here.
I do vaguely recall seeing a Ferris wheel.
Yeah, we got one of those. Main attraction's a double drill Viper, though. Leaves all the kids crying. A Viper? Is it dangerous to let snakes near children? It's a roller coaster. Man, these old timers. I see. Well, I'm afraid I must pass. Trials have so many back and forths, I don't think I can handle any additional roller coasters. Great. It's a kids-only park. Got any old men lurking about. Love them little brats. Us adults are pretty damn dull in comparison. So I've made sure they have a safe place to play in this harsh world. Those above 12, we ought to shelve. That's our motto at Luna Park. Hogwash. True wisdom only comes with age. That's why I've got $1 billion in the bank, and you've got, what, 2 mil or so? Because parking some cash in the stock market for 50 years takes so much wisdom. It's called patience, something the youngsters these days lack. Well, even mine is running this thing right now, so let's move on. I am Jones Dow, investor, net worth, about $1 billion. Keep mentioning your damn billion. You try to impress these gals? It's important to let them know who is the most competent here. I know where to put money, and my money's on that last being up to no good. At least, the presiding judge appears to be a wise gentleman. I'm sure he'll see it my way and send her where she belongs. I will spare no effort to ensure the defendant receives her fair verdict.
He won't get swayed that easily, right?
Now then, will the third witness introduce himself?
My turn. I'm Monopoly. I run a humble furniture business. Is he tired? Good chances here to enjoy the other two bickering the whole evening. Did we get their profiles? Waldus Nelland, one of the auction guests, CEO of Luna Park, a nearby amusement park for children. The tower was originally to become part of said park, but was put up for rent instead. Jones Dow, one of the auction guests and witness to the crime, an investor with considerable net worth. I bet he's going to explain something about the original Lighthouse of Lunacy design as an attraction, and that's going to come into the murder somehow. This guy, I don't know. He's a investor with considerable net worth, so looking to buy shit probably. Monopoly owns a business related to furniture, and yeah, I don't know if there's a pun name for the other two, but Monopoly, yeah. You all get it.
Without further ado, let's listen to what these gentlemen have seen.
In a minute, your guilt will be undisputable to even the most Philistine of observers. We will see about that, won't we? The shot in the hallway.
The three of us were having a friendly talk during the auction break.
We were standing in the hallway. We'd have seen everyone passing through. The defendant, she went past us and entered the room.
Next up was the auctioneer. Must have noticed the trespassing and followed the perp.
We heard a gunshot, so we rushed to the door to check on the crooked business.
Just so we're crystal clear on this, nobody else was in the hallway before the shot.
Someone was talking inside. Serves you right, old crow. It was the defendant's voice. Serves you right, old crow. Wait, what are you talking about? I never said that. Sorry, it's what I heard.
Thought we didn't catch that, eh?
It was clear as day.
Think twice next time before you open your mouth after offing someone.
She taunted her victim. Unbelievable how cold-blooded. Does she think this is a game? It is a game, but that's besides the point.
This is quite the revelation. It basically amounts to a confession.
Get in there and raise some lumps, boy. I need a confession. Oh, you already confessed. What is going on here? I know I never said those words. Do we really need something like this making the case even worse? Do you see now, Aurelia? I never promised too much. Admit defeat with some dignity. You effectively already admitted your guilt to them.
There is still one point I am unsure on, Miss Preston. If nobody else approached the door as these gentlemen claimed, then who locked it?
As I've said, it should be obvious that the victim or the defendant locked it.
I think you must have found the key to the room by now.
The key has not been found.
Well, doesn't that create a contradiction in your theory?
Again, she must have hidden it in a really asinine spot we wouldn't think of. Her triviality is surely outweighed by all those insurmountable evidence against her.
Well, certainly, there is no question as to her guilt even without that, I suppose. Is there anything you'd like to say before I hand down my verdict, defendant? Well, that's what I'd like to ask, but you will probably insist on cross-examining the witnesses.
I definitely have some questions, Your Honor. I'm aware you never know when to listen, but allow me a recommendation. Don't try stalling too much. I could easily predict all you might try, and none of it will make you look better. Noted. and immediately throw it into the trash. I got a hint for you too, Lillian. Let's save the chat for later. I'm gonna get you through this trial first. Just wanted to tell you that I didn't pick up any lies from these witnesses so far. But that's absurd. What they claim I said is completely made up. There must be some other explanation. You better start thinking of one. I'll leave you to it. Okay, let's go through it. I am 200% certain I never said anything like that. Is it possible somebody else said it? I recall hearing voices right after the shot, but my perception was hazy then. I didn't make out what they said.
I took it you're ready to begin then. Your cross-examination, Miss Chase.
What are you talking about? A Philistine attempt to stall. The question has no possible relevance. I wouldn't say that. The topic of their conversation might have affected their perception. Or maybe I'm reaching out of spite?
We were discussing the auction. Nothing special.
Discussing? You were running your mouth because you couldn't handle losing!
Don't know what banter is, old-timer? You should try it at one of your boring parties.
Boulder Dash! You were absolutely mad! Right, Mono? Well, Mr. Nillen may have been a tiny bit. Careful what you say, Mono. Not irritated, though it might have looked that way. Mr. Dow had been driving under bidding prices in the auction so far. So that was him.
That's plainly how you play auctions. I was giving the old-timer some friendly advice.
You're the first thing! You're gonna shock everyone with the high numbers.
How many times do I teach you this? That'll just make them save their gunpowder. You've got to wait for the valuable stuff before you strike, or you'll be out of money by then.
You still think that thing would have You still think that thing would have actually turned up?
Of course, she was saving the best for last. Basic auction playbook. That's how you drain the last hesitant dollars.
You were waiting for something specific? The statuette of Thanatos. Dr. was said to possess a real ancient Greek figure. You'd saved us to be able to bid on it. $500,000. 1 million! 2 million.
7 million! 10 million!
You serious? You don't even have that much on hand! Who cares?
I can take out a loan.
Rich people were a mistake. Yeah, 3 rich people all understand. And for once, they ain't lying. I mean, they're being pretty straight up about how stupid they all are. Still fun to voice. Could you point out your exact position on this diagram, please? If you insist, lass! Which is around here, in the corner.
You certainly would have had a very good view into the hallway from there. Damn straight. No dead angles whatsoever.
It does look that way. Still, were you actually facing the hallway the whole time? What are you on about?
Nice try, miss. But we were standing in a triangle.
Their combined eyes thus gave them perfect 360-degree vision. One of them always had the door in their view.
I see no issues here. Or are you suggesting that there's a problem with one of these claims?
No dead angles. 360-degree vision. So standing here, there's technically a dead angle here, right? I mean, they can't see what's going on in this section. But is that section important? 360-degree vision, I mean, strictly speaking, you know what, I think that probably checks out though. So, I'm going to try no dead angles. No dead angles? I don't think so. There's definitely a spot they couldn't see from that position.
There is? Could you point it out for us then?
The witnesses couldn't have seen what happened in this spot. Yeah. You wouldn't have been able to see anyone behind the corner. Which is laughably irrelevant. The victim had entered the room before these witnesses heard the shot. Someone from that hallway would naturally not have had a clear shot at that point. Isn't some kind of ricochet possible with the bullet bouncing off the wall? I should probably just have stopped talking instead of doubling down.
The door was closed at that point. Gonna sip up your game, miss. It appears the only shot came bouncing back at you, Miss Chase.
I was too eager to point something out there. Gotta make sure the contradiction actually matters. Damn it. It should have actually mattered. Do you fire the shot through the display room? I don't know. I can always come back to that. Are you sure that was me? Yes, I'm afraid so.
Your get-up stood out like a sore thumb, miss.
Is everyone going to criticize me for this? To commit such criminal acts even when in such plain view? Would you not dare to imagine what depravities you would plan if you possessed a ring of Geigers? Did you actually see my face, witness? No way you paid that much attention to a passerby. Oh, you're asking me. I saw it. You were looking around a lot. It drew my attention. Sorry. Was I really acting that shifty? Okay, but there was nothing else suspicious about me, surely. It's like you saw me carrying a gun, for example. No. An unrefined attempt to exonerate yourself. This weapon is small enough to be concealed easily. I know I've had it with me at the time, but it's good to know what they know, I guess. Was there anything notable about the manager at that time?
The lady had a stern look upon her face. Reckon she must have hated trespassers just as much as I do. If it wasn't for her trying to handle it, I might have even taken you on myself.
Should I be glad?
Folks need to learn to stick to their lane. You know how many trespassers there are at Luna Park? They climb the fences, some even fake their age to pass off as kids. Can you believe it? It does sound rather evil infiltrating a children's park. I've handled them all what was coming to them. Don't worry. Those fiends will never dare pull it out again after that.
This is a sprite on him, and I mean, we saw it earlier, but I've never seen this sprite before despite using the sprite set, so I imagine that the creator of this of these sprites made new ones, but this looks sick as hell. So I don't know if I ever go back to that case where I used these sprites. Dreambout Turnabout, it's called. The first case I made on Ace Attorney Online. Then just be good to keep in mind there's more sprites now. Looking like a fiend yourself there. Does that park feature a torture chamber? To get back to my point, was there anything else?
You're going to have to be more specific there, miss.
Let's see, was the victim... Just to be clear, the victim wasn't wounded at that point.
What are you playing at? Of course the lady didn't have any visible wounds yet. Trust me, I've seen a lot of grievously wounded folks. She wasn't walking like one.
Okay, what is going down in an amusement park? Should we be concerned?
But that's besides the point, isn't it? You knew damn well she couldn't have been shot then. Not like anyone's still walking around after getting their heart popped. Gonna do better than that, miss. I've been paying attention too. Well, the witnesses have a point. Still, does the victim still being unharmed at this point create any major problems to you?
It's astoundingly problematic. When it loads... Yeah, this is a huge issue.
This is gonna be good. Very well, if you say so, then I'm sure you have grounds for it. What is the problem with the victim being unharmed before entering the study?
That would be this blood trail. It's quite the problem when you say the victim was unharmed. It's a faint trail, so I'm not surprised you missed it, but there is, nonetheless, some blood present in the hallway. Blood in the hallway? What in the... It's irrelevant. It couldn't have been victims. Couldn't have been the victims? Not so fast. Thanks for reminding me of the autopsy report. I've given it a good read as well. It clearly mentions the victim having a little cut on her index finger.
So you're suggesting the blood is from that cut?
Would be the best explanation given the evidence, don't you agree? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, actually, because, I mean, the previous contradiction we pointed out was the dead angles thing. Irrelevant in hindsight. This also kind of seems irrelevant, because she's got a cut on her finger and she's left a blood trail. Although maybe it's the fact that they didn't see it, but then again, it's the kind of trail that's faint, so it's hard to notice. But congratulations. Against all odds, I'm impressed. Or maybe it's the point that if they missed her being injured, they may have missed something else. Like, not paying attention. Impressed by the amount of ignorance you must have to think this is a worthwhile argument. You will undoubtedly use the fool's gambit and assume it is a good chess opening.
Is there an issue with the defendant's assertion?
Even you cannot see it. I will allow myself to break it down for you then. Firstly, it is pure speculation. You cannot even prove this is the victim's blood. How about we just analyse it then? Secondly, even if you were able to prove it, it would be inconsequential. If we hypothetically accepted your explanation as true, what would it change? A small cut wound in the victim's finger is easy to miss. There will be no actual contradiction with the witness statement. I give you that, but it still changes the facts, no? Yes, truly outstanding. The victim had a tiny cut in her hand beforehand. Perhaps she tested the sharpness of the knife. Quite the important question to consider. This is nitpicking of the highest order. It's not worth confirming such an immaterial claim.
Well, you are quite correct.
Never thought I'd agree with her, but that's literally what I just said, basically.
This does not appear to actually change anything, and I do not see how it could have if pursued. Witness testimony remains decisive.
And as for that testimony, we'll see more of it and how decisive it really is next time. When we continue Act 2, we're still in Act 2. And there's probably many more acts to come. I had a brief glimpse when I was checking the walkthrough, but didn't want to see exactly how many there are. But yeah, we've still got a long way to go in this case. We're not really close to getting to the bottom of everything yet because we've got all these clues. I don't know what the fuck they're for yet, but still continues to be intriguing, and I hope you're all ready to join me on the journey next time. So, bye.